Since there's a theme about music throughout this conversation, one of the best topics for songs is heartbreak, love in general, but heartbreak. Why and how do we remember and forget heartbreak? Asking for a friend.
Oh God, that's so hard to asking for a friend. I love that. It's such a hard one. Well, so I mean, part of this is we tend to go back to particular times that are the more emotionally intense periods. And so that's a part of it. And again, memory is designed to kind of capture these things that are biologically significant, and attachment is a big part of biological significance for humans, right? Human relationships are super important, and sometimes that heartbreak comes with massive changes in your beliefs about somebody, say if they cheated on you or something like that, or regrets, and you kind of ruminate about things that you've done wrong. There's really so many reasons though, but I mean, I've had this. My first pet I had was we got it for a wedding present as a cat, and got it after but it died of FIP when it was 4 years old. And, I just would see her everywhere around the house. We got another cat, then we got a dog. Dog eventually died of cancer, and the cat just died recently. And, so we got a new dog because I kept seeing the dog around, and I was just so heartbroken about this. But I still remember the pets that died. It just comes back to you. I mean, it's part of this. I think there's also something about attachment that's just so crucial that drives, again, these things that we want to remember, and that gives us that longing sometimes. Sometimes it's also not just about the heartbreak, but about the positive aspects of it, right? Because the loss comes from not only the fact that the relationship is over, but you had all of these good things before that you can now see in a new light, right? And so one of the things that I found from my clinical background that really, I think, gave me a different perspective on memory is so much of the therapy process was guided towards reframing and getting people to look at the past in a different way, not by changing people's memories, or not by imposing an interpretation, but just offering a different perspective, and maybe one that's kind of more optimized towards learning and, an appreciation maybe, or gratitude, whatever it is, right? That gives you a way of taking, I think you said it in the beginning, right? Where you can have this kind of like dark experiences, and you can use it as training data to, grow in new ways. But it's hard.
I often go back to this moment, this show Louis with Louis C.K., where he's all heartbroken about a breakup with a woman he loves. And an older gentleman tells him that's actually the best part, that heartbreak, because you get to intensely experience how valuable this love was. He says the worst part is forgetting it. Is actually when you get over the heartbreak. That's the worst part. So I sometimes think about that, because, having the love and losing it, like the losing it is when you sometimes feel it the deepest, which is an interesting way to celebrate the past and relive it. It sucks that you don't have a thing, but when you don't have a thing, it's a good moment to viscerally experience the memories of something that you now appreciate even more.
So you don't believe that an owner of a lonely heart is much better than an owner of a broken heart? You think an owner of a broken heart is better than the owner of a lonely heart?
Yes, for sure. I think so. But I'm gonna have to, day by day. I don't know. I'm gonna have to listen to some more Bruce Springsteen to figure that one out.
Well, it's funny because it's like after I turned 50, I think of death all the time. Like, I just think that, I'm in like, I have probably a fewer years ahead of me than I have behind me. Right. So I think about one thing, which is, what are the memories that I want to carry with me for the next period of time? And also about like just the fact that everything around me could be, I know more people who are, dying for various reasons. And so, I'm not lots. I'm not that old, right? It's like, but it's something I think about a lot, and I'm reminded of like how I talked to somebody who's like, who's a Buddhist, and I was like, the whole idea of Buddhism is renouncing attachments. Some way, the idea of Buddhism is like staying out of the world of memory and staying in the moment, right? And they talked about, it's like, how do you renounce attachments to the people that you love, right? And they're just saying, well, I appreciate that I have this moment with them, and knowing that they will die makes me appreciate this moment that much more. I mean, you said something similar, right? In your daily routine, that you think about things this way, right?
Yeah, I meditate on mortality every day. But I don't know, at the same time, that really makes you appreciate the moment and live in the moment. And I also appreciate the full, deep roller coaster of suffering involved in life, the little and the big too. So I don't know. I'm the Buddhist kind of removing yourself from the world, or the Stoic removing yourself from the world of emotion. I'm torn about that one. I'm not sure.
Well, this is where Hinduism and Buddhism, or at least some strains of Hinduism and Buddhism, differ. In Hinduism, like if you read the Bhagavad Gita, the philosophy is not one of renouncing the world, because the idea is that not doing something is no different than doing something, right?
Mm.
So what they argue, and again, you could interpret it in different ways, positive and negative, but the argument is that you don't want to renounce action, but you want to renounce the fruits of the action.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do it because of the outcome, you do it because of the process, because the process is part of the balance of the world that you're trying to preserve, right? And of course, you could take that different ways, but I really think about that from time to time in terms of like, letting go of this idea of, does this book sell, or trying to, like impress you and get you to laugh at my jokes or whatever, and just be more like, I'm sharing this information with you and, getting to know you or whatever it is. But it's hard, right? It's like, because we're so driven by the reinforcer, the outcome.
You're just part of the process of telling the joke, and if I laugh or not, that's up to the universe to decide.
Yep, it's my dharma.